That's what keeps me going. I love what I do.
Dave didn't always love the weather in Minnesota.
Here's a bulletin from the KSTP newsroom.
On May 6th, 1965, multiple twisters touched down across the metro.
My mom said, okay, everybody get in the hallway. That's all we had was a hallway, inner hallway.
And that's what stuck with you, and that's why you thought, I got to learn more about this.
It did. It kind of terrified me because I just wanted to figure out what causes these things, these terrorizing things, what causes them to develop, and can you predict them?
Dave went on to graduate from Florida State with a degree in meteorology in May of 1977.
Eyewitness News with meteorologist Dr. Walt Lyons.
Dr. Walt Lyons hired Dave at KSTP 2 months later.
He knew the weather. He was from Minnesota, so the vagaries and peculiarities of Minnesota weather weren't new to him.
And you're not an on-air guy.
No, I wasn't on air. I was behind the scenes person. I was doing all the maps for a guy named Rob Dixon. He was our country day meteorologist.
Dave's big break came back in 1979.
Most of the rainfall, though, has been a little bit further to the south.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
Hi, this is Dave Dahl reporting live from the KSTP Weather Services.
Over the next 4 decades, Minnesotans learned they could count on Dave to keep them safe.
Dave Dahl standing by with a further update for us.
Yeah,
Dave.
Stan.
From the so-called superstorm in July of 1987 that dropped nearly 10 inches of rain in just 5 hours,
As much as 25 to 30 inches of snow.
to the Halloween blizzard of 1991. Dave was there.
Yet for all that's changed over the past 40 years, one thing's remained the same. Dave.
Permanence, trustworthiness, you can count on the guy. He seems to be always there when you need him.
Get another good 20, 30 years out of this, Dave?
Yeah, I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing because I like it so much.
Well, we did work in the I Count on Dave jingle there. We had an entire summer of that. I didn't think we'd get it in there, but I'm glad we did. You know, honestly, I'll say Dave is one of my best friends. He is truly, you hear about people with their TV persona and then how they are in real life. Dave is one of those guys that what you get on the air is exactly how he is. He's one of the most thoughtful, nice, kind, generous people I've ever met in my life, and I'm thrilled to be here presenting this tonight.
And we are so proud to give this honor to Dave. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dave Dahl.
I can't believe how blessed I am and how honored I am to be here tonight. I'm so very fortunate to be included with such a wonderful group of people that are being honored here. And I believe it was Noel that said, this is a huge group of talent that's in this room. I'm blessed to be able to be in a state where I grew up and to be able to do something that I really, truly love for 40 years. I'm speechless. First and foremost, I want to thank the Hubbard family. They believed in me when I was a young kid right out of college. My first news director, Bob Jordan. Some of these names are going to be familiar to you, I'm sure. And of course, Walt Lyons, who we saw in the video, a great mentor of mine. Taught me some of the ropes. Roy Findon, Dennis Falcon, Gene Rubin, and John Dooley. All those gentlemen helped me, hung on to me, and led me through this wonderful thing we call television news. My wife, Julie, and all my kids. I can't list them all because I only have 2 minutes. But I love them all. They put up with long hours, long days, and they've been there, supported me through the time. I love them. I could tell you about the storms. We saw some of the storms that we covered and some of the other weather events that we covered here in Minnesota. But I have a story that kind of sums up my time at KSTP. My career almost ended before it started. I was there for about 2 weeks. When I first started at KSTP, I was working 12 hours on, 12 hours off. I'd work from midnight Friday night to noon on Saturday, and then midnight Saturday night to noon on Sunday. And I did that for a couple of years. But I was there 2 weeks, just started. And I'd been there for 9 hours. I'd started at 12 Friday night, and it was 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning. And I'd fallen asleep. So I had my head on my desk, and all of a sudden, I heard this pound on the desk. And I looked up, and there was this gentleman, an older gentleman, with a cigar hanging out of his mouth. And he looked at me and he says, "I want you to cut into programming." And I said, "I'm sorry, sir, I can't. It's, there is a storm outside, but it's not severe." And he said, "I want you to cut into programming." I said, "I'm sorry, it's not our policy. I can't do that." Well, he stormed out, slammed the door behind him. 2 minutes later, Stanley S. Hubbard called me up. I had met Stanley. And he says, "David, did you just say no to my dad?" His dad was the chairman of the board. That was Stanley E. Hubbard. And he goes, "David, next time my dad tells you to do something, humor him and do it." My father passed away a few years ago. And he said, "I don't believe in luck." And that's spoken from a guy who never stepped foot in Las Vegas. He goes, "You're fortunate. David, you're not lucky, you're fortunate." I have to say, Dad, you're absolutely right. I'm very, very fortunate. Thank you.